welcome back from that short break. You are still watching the Family Hour under the theme of parenting, and of course, Claire Bwenje, the world's favorite host. We are in the studio with Agaba, Mr. Agaba Moses, who is really doing us well when it comes to discussing this great topic of raising children in a traditional setting. And really, what he mentioned, and I really appreciated and I really loved, and I would encourage every parent really to take care of that, is charity begins at home. How you raise your children right now will affect how they behave and how they live in the future. So let us really have it in mind to raise our children in a godly manner, so that when they grow up, they will not depart away from our trainings. Well, thank you very much, Agaba. You are doing very well. And in your presentation earlier, before we got a break, you mentioned about how culture has really changed, and how somehow the parenting styles have changed. So I would love to pick your mind on the modern culture, or the modern way of parenting versus the traditional way of parenting. Just give us your mind, and then you can help us relate after that.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Claire. I think maybe to help our viewer is one of the things that we sometimes mistaken is thinking that traditional setting is wrong and it's bad. That is very wrong also, because traditional is a simple meaning that it has a genesis, it has an origin. Even God's original plan was to create the earth. Started by creating everything, put everything in it, and he said, "Oh, I need someone to look after it." And then he created man. The Bible says he created man on his image. And then after some time he realized man was lonely. He says, "This man is lonely." You see, the original plan was just to put something there, for him to see how powerful he is, to see how great he is. That's why he says, "Oh, I've created everything good." And he was very happy. It's the same thing. We need to also have a mindset that says our traditions are good, our traditions are better. We need to embrace that, because it's the mindset. You see, the anointing you respect, you attract.
Exactly.
You get my point?
So
some parents have made it a point to demean traditions and say, "No, I don't need my kids to grow up in that way. I need my kids to grow up
and speak their local language." I mean,
exactly.
Like, it's so local.
I have met people who cannot express themselves in any local language. The only language they speak in is French and English. I have a friend of mine who speaks good French. You get my point? And this boy cannot speak any Kinyarwanda, and he's a Mnyarwanda. He speaks French very well. He's my cousin. He speaks French because he has grown up in Belgium. He rarely visits Rwanda. The time he came to Uganda, I was the interpreting what I even don't know. Because
you're adding up, but
you get my point.
Yeah.
The guy cannot express himself in any local language. And now when we go back to the modern, let me briefly talk about the modern settings. What is the modern setting? Is the phone, is the TV, is the swimming, is going for games at I don't know if it's still there. Ladies World. I don't know. I hear it was called Wonder World now. I don't know, something like that. So every Saturday and every Sunday, where are these kids being taken? Swimming, watching movies, going for cinemas, luxury, and that is modern. And after that, they go and watch TV. They watch those programs. I will not mention them, but they're on DSTV. They are watching this program. After this program, the kids are behaving recklessly, and these days also homosexuals has also adopted the stuff, and they start now as early as possible. These young cartoons, and these are the kids who are, and that's where we are getting the problem, because now these kids think that being modern, being modern, you're cool. You need to pierce your nose. You need to There's a time when I was driving and I was leaving home, and I found this young kid with a mother. And the kid was just putting on something covering him. And the girl, very young, around 7 years, something covering here, and like a patra, and of sneakers. And the mother was the one, holding the hand. They are walking. They are cool. You get? They are cool. And we're not saying the modern setting is bad, but there are things that we should not adopt. There are things that we should not adopt. Why? Because they are not relating with us. So now, as we're growing up, now when I go back to the tradition, what was the tradition? The tradition, yes, they were caning us. Yes, we used to fetch water from the wells very far. We used to go to the farm, gardens. Wake up in the morning, you have to go to the garden. So this is the tradition. We used to go to UPE schools. We used to go with sweet potato to school. I mean, can't you relate and see? Maybe some of these things that we call culture or traditional, are things that came about because of lack. You get my point? Because even what we call modern, we can still adopt our tradition. Because what was sweet potato can now be bread or biscuit. What was fetching water from the well is now we have taps in the house. What was sweeping the whole compound, it's now mopping. We don't have compounds now. We stay in apartments. We don't have compounds. What was riddles, when we used to visit our grandmothers and they tell us all these riddles. Me, I remember, there's an old woman I remember, when we were growing up, we were very young. She used to read for us 2 books. I don't know if I can even get those books. There was a book called Zinunulu Omunaku. And there was also a book called Basajja Mivule. These were Luganda songs. This woman was very perfect in reading Luganda. Every evening she would gather us, the kids around the community, and she would read us these books. And we used to learn a lot from these books. Now these days, parents even don't have time for their children. Now the TVs, the internet is now speaking to their children. That's the modern setting. And what is it telling them? Because it has also negative and positive impact. But always in society, the negative impact is always broader. It's always powerful. I don't know, for some reasons, the devil is a liar.
A big one.
Because the kids will learn more with what is not right. And what is right, sometimes it is hard. Because you see, the Bible says, the truth shall set you free. You know the truth and shall set you free. But sometimes, even knowing the truth, they're always in denial. They are always in mysteries. They don't understand what is the truth. Have you ever met a child of as old as 11 and this kid, you're trying to explain this kid about God, and the kid is putting in a serious debate? There's a kid who once told me that there's no God. Says, you Uncle Moses, let me tell you, there's no God. Have you ever seen God? And the kid was right. Have you ever seen God? Says, okay, if there is God, have you ever seen God? And because the kid knows there is no God, there are things that they think should just be normal. I mean, you're growing up as a child, you know you don't have man at home, you know you don't have all these things, you don't have all these necessities. Your mind is so eager to see how best you can make your life well. And now there's another kid who has grown up with everything. Now let's just run it over in the employment work time. The kid who has grown up with everything, these are the kids who come at office and they be on their phone. They tell them this, they resign. They resign. Work is heavy. But you who has grown up, Madam Claire, who has grown up fetching water, how do you tell me that this is heavy?
Oh no.
Actually, this is luxurious. You say,
I know.
I'm living my dream
I've
life.
arrived.
I've arrived. The first time I sat on a PC, a computer, I was at campus first year. Because even me, I remember way back when I was getting my Facebook account, it's a friend of mine who actually helped me. I couldn't even type my name in a computer. But these days, kids as early as 5, they have laptops at home, They know what to do. They know what to do. And these laptops don't even have parental guidance. No, 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 no. The kid has internet at home. They can easily Google in anything. You say something today, he hears it, he goes to Google. Google will teach them. And Google is a very good teacher. He will teach them. They will not keep anything away from them. By the way, these kids are even older than us. Because that is the modern way. But culture, there are things that were always kept for the right time. For the right time. When it's your time to get married, that's when the parents will call you. That's why they used to say, talk to your boy. You know, uncles, talk to your boy. Aunties, talk to your daughter. They prepare you for marriage. These days, kids as old as 12, they know even better than marriage better than you. Me, I know someone who is not even married, but she's a marriage counselor. Because she knows what happens there. How, I don't know. Because now people know, they Google these things. Just say on Google, I say, how is marriage? Google will give you the explanation.
Yeah, like everything, it will dump for you. It's up to you to pick what you want.
What you want. And there's no parental guidance. There's no, because we were prepared to have some things at a particular time.
You're right, yes.
And when the parents used to say, like a girl is going to say, hey, you should start talking to your daughter. She's now playing with the boys. It is early time. You get my point? I remember there's a time my niece came to me crying. She had, for the very first time, she had experienced what women experience, and she was very scared. She cried because I was also a boy. I didn't know what to do, so I took her to my auntie. And my auntie said, hey, Kale Moses, you can go, it's okay. Let's finish this. But now these kids, oh my goodness, they know these things. So modern setting has to be limited to a particular level. You have to know, when are these kids having fun? At what age is my child going to have a phone? What programs are on the phone? What are they watching? God has blessed us with TVs now. We have good televisions, networks, family programs. Do you even get time to sit down with your children to watch such programs? Exactly. Or the only time they have their own program, you have your own program. There's a time when the parents come in, they say to mom, and now the kids have to surrender their remote. And you know what happens? They leave. That is going to be boring. Why? Because that is going to watch news. To them, news is boring. The next thing is, dad is coming, he sees them watching a cartoon, he cannot even sit, or the mother cannot even sit and watch along with them. See what is in this cartoon we are watching. You get my point? So it's not that modern is bad, but sometimes we have failed as parents to control. And even the things that we thought were bad as traditions, they are not bad. Because these are the things that shaped us. These are the things that shaped us. Because if we are not shaped in that way, maybe we wouldn't be here. Some of these parents wouldn't be here where they are right now if it wasn't like that. When you get time to pray with your children, I remember when we were young, our parents used to pray. Some of us are still even moving on the prayers of our mothers and our fathers.
I hear you right.
They used to pray for us, but these parents no longer pray for their children. They just got out of their houses.
Bad.
Because now, okay, if you just got out of your house, what have you replaced him with? Because always, wherever there is a virtue, something has to occupy.
Definitely.
Something has to occupy now. Let's ask ourselves, what is now occupying that space? Where God was.
What?
You don't have time, you leave home at 6, you come back at 10, you go early morning, Sunday, you're not home, you have so many meetings, you have this, you don't even have time to. Some parents even take it to another level. They send their kids to church. Hey, I'm going to church, you go to church. Is that a church? Say, hey, what? Kids come and bring themselves together. Where's your mother? Mommy's at home. She's washing. She's sleeping. Meaning church is not a priority. Now, this is what you're teaching your children, because for them, they don't learn with what they're teaching them at church. they are learning with what their parents are doing. So mommy on Sunday sleeps. So when they grow and they become mothers, they will not go to church. They will send their children.
They will also sleep.
Because mom used to sleep. So life is determined by the setting. And this is the thing. This is how it is. Have you ever sat with kids and their reasoning capacity is like for a guy of 25 years? And that is good. Now that is the time when you shape them into the right direction. That's why you will find them, they know their rights, by the way. You slap him, he will take you to police. They know their rights.
Children's rights. Wow.
Those days, how would you even dare take your...
How?
We were caned by strangers.
Even they cane you just knowing that you thought about it.
Let me tell you, we used to go to the well to fetch water, but on the way, if you misbehave, a neighbor will find you and cane you. And you just pray hard that this neighbor, after caning you, will not report you home. I know. Because the moment she reports you, he reports you. Another one on you. You have sisters?
Yes.
You can slap one today. Your sister alone will come and strangle you. How dare you touch my boy? How dare you touch my child? But you hate them to that point that you have caned them for nothing? No. Why? Because we have surrendered and given up on our children. We are living a modern way. We don't want to train these children. One friend of mine told me is in Australia. She told me one thing that in Australia there's a tribe called albinos. Albinos, yes. Albinos. Albinos, not albino, albinos. These are the natives. The natives Australians. They are black like us, by the way, having cool hair like yours. But they are black. This is the natives of Australia. Now, leave alone the whites who went there. You know, Australia was formerly just an island, and Europe, Great Britain used to dump thieves there, wrongdoers, convicts. They used to dump there, but now that is the Australian, the whites you see in Australia. Those are the people now. They are great parents. So they fought their way in. They captured the land. They took it from these guys. But you know, these guys who are the native Australians, even when you take them to school and give them this nice building, this nice studio, tomorrow when you come back, it's a mess. Why? Because for them, their life is a village, a forest life. They are not used to these modern things. So these things come with us. Even when there is change, change does not change you. You change it. You adopt to change, but in a good format. That's why I have to wake up in the morning, take a shower as a lady, and go to work. I come back in the evening, I find something to do, I do it, I prepare something to eat, I look up to this, I check on my children, I check on my husband. You know, this is how you are raised. One of our friends was telling me that I cannot marry a career woman. I'm like, why? Because now she says, career women, they will come back late in the night and she doesn't even know how you sleep or you ate or you didn't eat. What they mind about is their job and their books. Because for them, they start until they die. But do you know there are also career women who are very good?
There are very many.
She loves her job because she knows how to balance. So you can balance the two. You can balance the modern and you can also balance the tradition. Because culture, we are not going to kill culture. Culture is what makes us. Every time you think you have killed the other culture, there's another culture you adopt. So culture is like order of the day, because culture is how you behave, things you grow up seeing, the things you learn. Because culture can also be defined in societies, in home, in schools, the culture of the school. There are schools where you cannot speak Luganda, vernacular. You remember those ones they used to give us?
That's up.
Exactly. Their culture is English. But there are also other schools which have a culture of, we have the tradition and the modern. They balance. Like these Buganda schools, they teach Luganda. Haven't you seen people read Luganda news? Are they really making good money out of it? Exactly. So you mean everyone who has to learn English? English is the only way to make money. I've been just seen people read news in Nyankore, and they are very perfect at it, and it's what earns them a living. I know of MCs, when we are looking for MCs, like on my wedding, when we are looking for MCs, we are looking for an MC who can speak Runyankore and English fluently. What does that mean? That Runyankore is not irrelevant, it is relevant.
Very.
Exactly.
Very.
And now when we go to school, what are we telling? And we have surrendered our children to the schools. The schools now define which language our kids should speak. Hello? Hello? And these are the kids we have at home. Holiday. You don't even have time to take them to the village. When was the last time these parents took their children to in their homes, in their villages, where you come from? Have you even ever taken a track of where you were raised? You go now back to the village, you visit your aunties, or the only thing you tell them is, that auntie, you don't go there. That auntie is a witch. That uncle of yours, you make them hate your relatives. Instead of bringing love and unity in your family. The kids, because at one point you will not be there. Whom are you leaving your kids with? At the end of the day, society will not shape your children the way you want them. It's your family that will tell them, by the way, you are from here, you are from Chisoro, you are from Kabali, you are from Ibanda. And it's an origin. And that's where when we grow, we lose the sense of belonging. Because our parents did not show us the track of where we come from. We lose the sense of belonging. That's why you find someone is in Kampala, even if it's Christmas, they don't have where to go. Not because they don't want, but they don't have where. Because they grew up, they never visited anyone. Never went to any auntie. So at the end of the day, they are lonely in life. That is the worst situation when you become lonely. When you become lonely. The pillars that you thought are my people, now they are no more. Now you grow. Because right now we may be the next generation. But a time is going to come when we are the old generation. There's another generation. What have you left?
And the time is even now. Very, very soon.
Very soon. You know those days we used to, someone used to say that I am 30 years and I'm like, oh, this guy is old. How old am I now? Imagine. So the age we used to fear is now our age. So it may be at one point you're going to be 50. You go to Mkadekele's home. You understand these things?
I get it.
So we have to adopt these things and we have to balance the modern and the traditional. Life is like that. Life is like that. Let your kids go to America, let them go to Canada, and let them not forget where they come from. Let them not represent you. Have you ever seen a parent who lives with their children and they are all worried? Because they don't trust their children. They have not brought them in the right way. My kids, I know they're misbehaving. But they are kids who are very confident. And then their parents who are very confident. They live with their children and they know my children will not disappoint me. I've raised children, I've raised my siblings, I've taught in Sunday schools, I did my research in children. I know these things that I'm talking about. And I have seen them, I've tested them, I have seen them with my eyes. I have seen these kids. I've interacted with all tribes in Uganda. At least I've been in all regions. And I know these kids. And actually, if you want to test me, children are my favorite human beings. Because I love hanging out with children. Children are so lovely. When they love you, they love you. They don't pretend. When they hate you, they will hate you. They will tell you, we don't like Uncle Moses. You didn't give me sweet yesterday. When you're leaving, they will cry for you. Even much as the parents are saying, oh, the kids are saying, Uncle Moses, when are you coming back?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you get my point.
I do.
So kids are like that. But it also comes from how you are raised. How you raise their children, how you grow up, how you treat them, how you combine all the different characters that you learn as you grow.
Wow, I really love that. Agava, our time is already spent, but I would love you to really give us your closing remarks. I know the parents are watching and the children are watching. What are your remarks or what's your advice in all this?
Yeah, first and foremost, let's go back to our roots. If you know very well that you are a religious family, you know, you are raised in this line of knowing God, praying together as a family, doing things as a family. It's very important. The question is, when was the last time you prayed with your children? Do you even teach them how to pray? When was the last time you checked on them in their bedroom? Or it's the maid taking care of the children? Do you know where they sleep, how they sleep? Have you ever tested their meals? Do you even know how they eat? Do you know that your children can be actually trained in a way that you don't even understand because the maid has a different setting, a background where they come from? Is that the only way that you want your children to be grown up? Let's go back as parents and understand that our children are our next generation. And as we are raising them, let's go back to ground zero and train them the way we want them to be.
Thank you very much, Agaba. It's been a great pleasure having you here. We have honestly learned a lot from you. To you, our dear viewer, we love you from the deepest parts of our hearts. It is a very, very good night. And please enjoy your season. Love you. God bless.
Merry Christmas.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.